Novo lit that shit bang.
Welcome back, everybody, to Crows of Judgment. And today we're going to be talking about the Onision documentary, the final episode, and my main issues with it. Now, originally we were going to do this on stream last night, but that entire thing got derailed. Onision wound up jumping into the call. Then we had Nicholas Diori on for a bit. I'll put a link into that for that stream in the description. But it went on for like over 3 hours. Then I had to go to the gym in the morning. I am exhausted, but it was a great stream. I definitely think that there was a lot of fun that I had. And I got to call Onision a sex worker, so definitely check it out. Anyways, guys, before we jump in, please do me a favor. Drop a like on this video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And leave us a comment if you want to see different things on the channel. I'm always looking for new content. So whenever I watch these episodes, I've been doing these long Twitter threads so that I can organize my thoughts. But these were live reactions. So at one point in the documentary, this is something I thought was really egregious, right? And it showed to me that this final episode was really taking a shot at YouTube and specific YouTubers as a whole, because they decided to play clips of Keemstar and Augie. Now, what's really disgusting and gross about this is they were talking about people defending Onision in spite of his behavior. So they play a clip from Keemstar and they play a clip from Augie basically saying, the guy does deserve his own defense, right? Augie goes on to say the objectively true statement that there is nothing criminal or illegal that Onision has done or that can actually be proven. So they went ahead and played those clips as if Keemstar and Augie were somehow Onision defenders, which is disgusting, gross, completely untrue. But given the issues that Stephen A. Sarch and Chris Hansen have with these two YouTubers, it's pretty clear why it was included in the documentary. Now, I cannot stress enough how absolutely disgusting and dishonest that is, because Rutro, Lawyer Lady, just said the thing about how dangerous to leave a predator on the platform, going hard on canceling Onion Boy's channel, but let's see. This woman's not an Onision defender, but she went to say the exact same thing in a different way. She said, well, the laws haven't caught up to the internet. The laws are 25 years behind, so it's on YouTube to take action on Onision's channel. So she basically said that there's nothing illegal that you can actually pin onto Onision. Well, if that's the damn case, why would you then turn around and accuse Augie and Keemstar of somehow defending Onision when all they're saying is like nothing criminal? But if she is saying the exact same thing, how dare you accuse two YouTubers, right, who clearly have issues with Onision, do not defend him, openly criticize him, of being defenders? It was disgusting, it was dishonest, and the reason why it was in there is because Chris Hansen and Stephen A. Sarch have issues with these two. So there are 3 points I wanted to put in here. Still disgusting to use stories of victims you promised you wouldn't do. Within 3 minutes, actually under 3 minutes, Chris Hansen was doing a voiceover over these girls. And still in this episode, they have their stories playing, they have their faces blurred out, and Chris Hansen's like narrating over it. It's really creepy and wrong, given promises were actually made to not use these girls' stories. Pretty clear after Hansen got millions of views on this that helped him sell the story. So one thing is that later on, we're going to jump back into this point, they bring up how YouTubers are also exploiting this situation for money, and Chris Hansen goes on, well, I'm an investigative journalist. Well, also they highlight that Chris Hansen was getting millions of views on this story, on the stories of these victims, right? So clearly Chris Hansen was seeing a monetary benefit. Now, as far as like he goes on to say like I didn't get into this for money. Well, that's a total fucking joke, because I know for a fact that Chris Hansen was broke. He had no money. He was forced to use Vincent Nicotra because Vincent Nicotra would work for him for free. So then he starts doing YouTube. Then he starts getting all these views, all these super chat monies, off of these victim stories and winds up selling it to Investigation Discovery. It's pretty clear he was doing it for the monetary reasons. That's why he made some really gross overstatements about how the police were going to get involved, because it just generated so much hype, which of course never actually happened. The FBI is going to get involved. We have a laptop full of evidence. None of it's included in the documentary, of course. Now, 2 points I want to actually highlight about Stephen A. Sarch. The first one is this over here. In regards to the laptop, Chris knew it was at my house for over a month and did nothing to retrieve it. Even when I asked and put it in writing, he told me to hold on to it even after I asked. So yeah, this was actually from a conversation with Sarah, who had said that she had given the laptop over to Chris Hansen. Now, this laptop supposedly had hard evidence against Onision. I don't know if that's true or not, and unfortunately nobody ever will, because after it was turned into Chris Hansen, it was left at an apartment with this Vincent Okotra guy who was working for Chris Hansen for free because Chris Hansen was a broke bastard. And this whole thing just turned into a whole cluster F word. I'm trying not to swear. But yeah, it's absolutely a joke, right? To have Chris Hansen talking over the stories of these victims and everything, talking about how he got millions of views off these stories, right? And not bring up the fact that, it's Chris Hansen, right, who colossally screwed this whole thing up by lying about what he actually had, by going on about how, the FBI was going to get involved and talking about evidence, hard evidence, and then completely screwing with that hard evidence. So, one final point by Stephen A. Sarch, right? And this is in relation to using the girls' stories, right? I'm going to need a comment about what? Blurring the girls' faces, using them in the doc, and having Shiloh read it. Things Edwin was told would not be included. None of my decision or doing. I'm personally not a fan of how it was covered. So, yeah, Stephen A. Sarch is such a weaselly little... Stephen A. Sarch is a greasy weasel, I guess is the best way of putting it. Because when you criticize something in the documentary, episode 1, him saying that, Chris Hansen is responsible for changing the narrative of Onision, he runs to Twitter and says, oh, well, I that was sarcasm. That was sarcasm, guys. And then over here, right, people are pointing out, like, you guys promised Edwin, when he appeared in this documentary, that they would not use the stories of these girls. And he goes, I had no control over that one either. People ask him, hey, what about the laptop? Why isn't that brought up at all? Right? Well, Chris Hansen's over here talking about, and even Stephen A. Sarch is talking about the only reason why people are upset with Chris Hansen is because, he wasn't respectful to YouTubers. No, it was the mishandling. It was the lies. It was all this garbage with Vince Okotra, false flagging, hitting people for copyright strikes, right? And now he's going, I wasn't a fan of that. I had no control over anything. I'm like, dude, this is such a joke. He was an executive producer and a consultant and had major screen time in that documentary. Oh, man, it is absolutely frustrating to see this man weasel his way around shit. And speaking of greasy weasels, Shiloh is going all over her diagnosed disorders, and yet no mention of one that made her sell out her sisters and read their stories without their consent. So I assume the disgusting degeneracy has nothing to do with Onion Boy then. Yeah, I'll be very clear. Whenever I think about Onision, right, it's so hard. It is absolutely hard to criticize Onision for his behavior with Shiloh, which was gross and disgusting, while also knowing what a gross and disgusting person Shiloh is. The fact that she is your patient zero, your victim zero, and she goes to these disgusting levels makes it so hard to actually criticize Onision when you can turn around and point to what a disgusting person Shiloh is. So let me just be clear. Two people can both equally be disgusting and amoral, and that is Greg and Shiloh in a nutshell. So I saw this and I just started to die, right? So as soon as I saw it, I tagged Diorio and I tagged Spooky Lord. So they put actual tweet. Deplatform predator. Shiloh has lost all credibility. I've lost all respect for her. Now, fuck her and the anti-OSJW crowd. Right. So they said that this was an actual tweet, right? Well, and in this part of the documentary, Shiloh is talking about all the abuse and harassment that the Onision fans have given her, right? And that looks bad. That looks very bad, right? Here's the problem. Deplatform predators. Shiloh has lost all credibility. She won't take responsibility for sending a hate mob after an innocent guy, and when you call her out, she blocks you. She's literally Onision herself now. I've lost all respect for her. Now fuck her in the anti-SJW crowd. This was because Shiloh, who is a disgusting amoral degenerate, turned around and used the deplatform predators hashtag, which she brags about making in this documentary, to target Nicholas Diorio, a YouTuber who had simply asked a question about why one of the victims of Onision was taking personal donations through an app instead of a GoFundMe or a Kickstarter or something, and how weird it was that these donations were being taken for a laptop for the school year when the laptop, the one that, Chris Hansen had fucking stored in an apartment, had been gone for over a year, and she was seeking the donations when school year wasn't even starting. So yeah, it was pretty weird. Shiloh, who is a disgusting amoral degenerate, then turns around and uses the platform predators hashtag to attack Nicholas Diorio, who on a stream last night said that she was doing it on his birthday because that's what a nut job Shiloh is. And that's not Onion Boy. Onion Boy is a whole other type of fucking monster. But Shiloh is very, very damn close to what Onision is. A manipulative person. Someone who abuses her platform. I think along the way, there was resentment because I'm not a YouTuber and took this investigation to the next level. Chris Hansen. In other words, in other news, old man snaps spine giving self deep throat as creepy friend tickles his dusty nuts. Yeah. No. The reason why people on YouTube turned on Chris Hansen was the laptop, right? The one he gave to someone called Vince Nicotra. Sorry. And how it had hard evidence and it just sat in someone's apartment and was never turned over to anybody, right? It made people like, what are you doing? You're mishandling this, right? It was like doing interviews where he forgets what people have told him, right? So I think it's from Ashley. If I find the tweet, I'll put it in the description, right? But there's an interview where this girl is giving her story about how she was abused by somebody. And then later on, freaking Hansen over here has that person on the show and literally goes to the person who's just given the story about how she was abused and says, so have you ever met? And it's so weird. There was the interview with one of the victims where Chris Hansen starts talking about Black Lives Matter right in the middle of it, right? So how do you think this affects the Black Lives Matter movement, right? Stuff like that, right? There was the copyright and false flagging of multiple YouTube channels calling him out and being like, what are you doing? That's why Chris Hansen was getting so much heat on YouTube and deserves so much heat on YouTube. It was not just because, I'm not a YouTuber and I took the investigation to the next level. No, it's because you actively lied and said the FBI would be getting involved. And guess what? The FBI never got involved because there was nothing there, because you're a lying, gross, disgusting old man who's broke, who's actually been arrested for writing bad checks. That's why there was resentment towards Chris Hansen. So, wow, they included Repsy smashing him, but now they're saying it all because the channels are actually clout chasing Chris Hansen. Chris Hansen is a gross, disgusting human being. And then this is probably the worst part for me, right? Edwin had told, actually, I think it was Nicholas Diorio on Augie's stream sometime back. Edwin was in there, and Edwin had basically confirmed with something Diorio had said that he did the documentary because they were going to allow him to criticize Chris Hansen, right? Which, look, I still think that it was a dumb move to go onto that documentary, and Edwin deserves to be criticized for having done that. However, they included his criticism of Chris Hansen only to give Chris Hansen a special segment where he could rebut Edwin, which is why? Why would you even include that in the documentary, right? Either cut it or keep it in. But they derailed the documentary so Chris Hansen could take massive shots at YouTubers. And it's so weird because Edwin is part of this documentary, right? He's in all 3 episodes. And then Chris Hansen's going on about how Edwin and other YouTubers are actually exploiting the victims. And I really want to play the audio, but I know how absolutely disgusting this fucking documentary team is and how they'll immediately put a copyright claim out there, even though they've gone on to defame multiple people, not named Onision, through it, because they're just awful fucking people. But, I'll put the Twitter thread, the link to this in the description, so you can watch this one segment for yourself and see how they go on to defame people, right? But let me be very clear, right? To my knowledge, Edwin, Repzion, Blair White, all these YouTubers that they bring up, right? I can't think of any single one of them, right, who told a victim that they would not run their story and then went on to run their story, Chris Hansen, you exploitative sack of human shit. Everybody knows you're a broke fucking bastard, which is why you were so excited that there was this story of this predator where everyone was giving you the information because you're not an investigative journalist. Holy crap. To catch a predator, I'm an investigative journalist. You have ridden that goddamn train through a goddamn wall, right? Absolutely have done that because you are a joke. You had a team doing the work for you, and when your show got shut down because you did some absolutely disgusting things that led to a man, doing the seppuku on you, and your show got taken down, and then you went on fumbling and bumbling around trying to ride on the name To Catch a Predator because it's really all you ever had, even though you've never done an ounce of damn research on your own. Now turn around and go, I'm an investigative journalist and I want to give this story out to everybody. You're not. You're an absolute contemptible joke. Disgusting, dishonest, you always will be. So I put Creepily Gremlin Man is taking another swipe at YouTube. YouTube monetizes emotional pain. As long as you watch, YouTube wins. So, just some screenshots from this, right? Shiloh crying, views, income, Greg covered in shaving cream, which is creepy as shit. I already got you, Creepy Gremlin Man, because they go on to talk about this. The amount of content uploaded to YouTube increases every year. More than 500 hours of video are uploaded to YouTube every minute. It keeps going, though. Way to be so heavy-handed. It's good to think that the mockumentary is so unpopular, or else statements from this lady and this man might lead to another adpocalypse. It's up to YouTube to monitor. YouTube has fostered harassment and predatory behavior, telling you this is coming. And it is. It absolutely is. This documentary spends 7 whole minutes just straight up attacking YouTube, attacking the algorithm, and going on about how YouTube needs to enforce their policies harsher because they can't do anything criminally to Onision. And now Unfun Lady is explaining how YouTube doesn't monitor well enough, and that Onision's content is allowed regardless of the site's policies, and more has to be done. Ham-fisted heavy-handedness. The shots keep coming, they don't stop coming because A starts to pussy come on. I was having fun at that point. But yeah, so they're uploading like skits, right? Well, and this one's not a skit. This one is just Onision being a piece of shit. Oh my fucking fuck these people. They're dedicating an entire chunk just to keep attacking YouTube and demand change to the platform, then show this. They aren't even done. So yeah, they do this, right? And these images play back to back, right? On September 18, 2020, producers reached out to YouTube for comment. They declined to comment. And then this plays immediately afterwards. The FBI estimates that 500,000 child predators are online at any given moment. I'm telling you right now, the purpose of this documentary is to enact change on YouTube and enforce stricter and harsher punishments towards people that do content on YouTube. Because Chris Hansen, right, is a pissy little freaking baby. Absolutely is. He gets all ass mad and butthurt that people pointed out he's a broke bastard who absolutely exploited victims for money. And Stephen A. Sarch is a goddamn creepy little gremlin who has spent his career, right? His 6 years of higher education to become an activist and try to force changes onto YouTube, like during the Carlos Maza and Steven Crowder situation, where he demanded that YouTube make changes so that he could feel better on the inside. These two men are gross, creepy, and disgusting. And honestly, I wish that they would just, get Thanos out of fucking existence.
Nova lit that shit bang.